An ongoing study into children's screen time has revealed many teenage boys are spending up to 9 hours a day gaming online, and it's impacting their reading skills. Joining us live is Professor Kim Beswick, Director of the Gonski Institute for Education at UNSW. Kim, appreciate your time. Thanks so much. We were all a bit horrified, I think, by those NAPLAN results showing boys are lagging behind girls, especially when it comes to literacy. How much is gaming to blame?
It's hard to say exactly how much it's to blame, but obviously if somebody's spending that amount of time gaming, they're clearly not doing a lot of other things. So it's likely that it is having a negative impact on reading, but possibly on a lot of other things as well. So it's more the opportunity cost of that time more than the gaming itself, perhaps, although we don't have the research to say whether there are any actual damages from gaming itself.
Yeah, I think a lot of parents are really worried about this issue. We know girls also like screens. We're not suggesting they're immune from the pull of it. But how does their use differ to boys, and what impact more broadly are we seeing, not just from gaming, but from social media use, from having a phone?
Yeah. There does seem to be a tendency for boys to do more of the gaming and girls to do more of the social interaction. So there could be a difference in the way that impacts reading and writing skills. For example, that if you're typing into social media, then you're obviously doing something that's to do with literacy rather than perhaps gaming. So that might be a reason for the difference. And perhaps girls may tend to spend a little less time with their tech overall than boys.
I think most states have either already banned smartphones or about to introduce bans in public schools. How far do you think that goes to help fix the problems, and what else needs to be on the table to try and get a grip on this?
Yeah. I think, anything that reduces distractions in classrooms has got to be a helpful thing. Unless you're using the smartphone for some specific educational purpose, then it really doesn't have a place in the classroom. I don't think it's just a distraction. So the bans have to be a good thing. But there's a good deal of students' time that they spend outside of classrooms at home. You hear stories of boys gaming well into the early hours of the morning and so forth, and schools have no control over that. So it might be part of the answer, but it's not the whole answer, I don't think. So there's perhaps a community education piece to be done here as well.
And have we seen a real correlation in terms of the use of smartphones and those results starting to drop off dramatically? Is that a clear link in your view?
Well, there seems to be a correlation, but a correlation doesn't mean a causation necessarily. Since 2008, obviously smartphone use has increased and reading skills for boys appear to have declined. But a lot of other things have happened in that period as well. The price of eggs has increased as well, but we don't think that's got anything to do with reading. So we need to do research that goes beyond just correlations to be sure about how this is working, why it's affecting boys more than girls, and so forth. But I guess our uptake in society and in schools to some extent as well of technology tends to go well ahead of the research into the best ways of using it and its impacts on kids. So we definitely need some hard research. Things.
And in the meantime, Professor, what would be your top piece of advice for parents struggling with this very issue at home?
Yeah, well, if you've got young children where you're still perhaps a little bit more in charge of the tech use, I'd be limiting it a great deal, trying to delay when you get children technology. I don't think its use as an alternative to television or a babysitter for small children is a good idea. When you've got teenagers, I have great sympathy for parents who, are told they should limit the use of the time that their children spend on screens, but if they can, I think that's a good idea.
And when it comes to those phones...
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to say...
I was just going to say when...
Anything we can do to help boys to enjoy their reading too would be a great thing to do.
And when it comes to those phones, in terms of the age that they're being introduced, anecdotally it sounds like it's sort of a year 7 thing often when that kicks in. Is that about right? How long do you think parents can hold that off, and how would you suggest they do that? I think this is one of the top issues facing a lot of parents who have got children aged 12, 13, 14.
Yeah, I think anecdotally I know of many children getting phones well before year 7. So I think if you can delay to year 7, that's probably better than what a lot of people are managing at the moment. And the school bans are probably good for that. But I was saying before, I think anything parents can do as well as schools to encourage kids to enjoy reading. So even modelling that in the home has to be a good thing, I think. So, and having plenty of books around that are interesting to boys and girls has to be a good thing too.
Professor Kim Beswick, really appreciate you joining us there. Some good tips for a lot of people who I know are dealing with that issue at the moment. Thanks so much.
Thank you.